you know, plants are drying up, going to seed now, so it's not. As you can see, there's a lot of blonde. There's a lot of brown behind me now. Well, so it's just not as scenic. The bugs. There haven't been a lot of bugs around. Everything's kind of, getting ready for winter now. I don't even want to think about that, but it's coming. So. So I tried something. Now that I know I can take pictures of people, I've had experience with it. I tried something. There was a bike race. Somebody I went to school with, him and his brother were heavily into bikes. He has his own store in Brantford now, and he does bike races and stuff. And I can't think of what it's called, Dairy something. It's held in Woodstock, just outside of Woodstock. There's this natural area where they make trails through the woods and that, and make all kinds of different trails. You can, it's open to riding. You can ride whenever you want, but every year the course through these woods is different, so you can't actually practice the actual course that's going to be part of the race. So they have it all mapped out, and they don't announce it until the day that the race is there. So I decided to see what I could do with that, and I had my Canon with me. Well, that's all I had at the time, just my Canon. And I walked the trails. I found out what the route was going to be. So I started at one end and just kind of walked my way through. And I just started taking pictures of the racers coming through. And basically what it is they ride this course, and they just keep circling around and around and around. And it's for a set period. I think it's an hour. It's for a set period of time. And whoever's number gets recorded the most number of times as they come around, they're the ones that win. So it's not a matter of finishing first, it's a matter of riding around this circuit the most number of times. It's kind of cool how they do it. And there are a lot of other photographers here. Some of them had these big lenses and these professional looking cameras, and it was quite intimidating, to say the least. But I'm unique. I do things my way. And it was raining. I forgot about that. It was raining. You can use an SLR in the rain. It's not going to hurt it, right? You just can't change lenses in the rain because you'll get rain inside. You don't want to do that. You don't want to get moisture inside your camera. But I've always used my cameras in the rain. Sometimes in pouring rain. I've never had an issue with them. Never. So it was raining that day. And the difference is, all these photographers, they all stayed in the parking lot. I was the only one that went into the trails to get pictures of the racers in the trails. And I don't mind saying it, I got some really nice shots. I impressed myself. And I can't remember which one, but I sent the pictures to the race organizers or organization, whatever I'm trying to say, and they were impressed, and they asked if they could put my pictures on their website. And I said, yeah, go for it. I didn't get paid for this, no payment whatsoever. One of the scorekeeper guys there, he asked if I'd be interested in doing all their races. I said yes. Never heard from him again, right? I guess he changed his mind, I don't know, but I got pictures of people sitting up, parking lot and everything, all the different things, same as all the other photographers. But I was the only one that went in the trail. And there was one point where there's a long trail coming towards me, and come down a hill a bit and then come up a hill. That became my favorite spot. I was getting pictures of the racers coming up this hill, and the snaky trail behind them blurred in the background. That became my favorite. And somebody commented on the website, she said that anytime they have photographers covering the race, they never get a good shot of her. She said, you're the first person that's actually got a picture of me that I liked. So that was a huge, huge compliment. And that was awesome. That boosted me. I can't tell you how much. It really meant a lot to me. Because like I said, in the past, I've never been able to take pictures of people. And thanks to my friend inviting me to start taking pictures of his kids, I learned how to do it. I developed my own style, and it was something that I was good at. And there was another area of the race. While this was going on, they had a kids race as well. It was a shorter course, and it was a shorter time period. I think it was like half an hour. And I got some pretty good pictures of the kids riding too. But it was kind of a temporary thing. Half hour turned out to be too much for them. They cut the race short, and then I went back to the other racers, the main race. And they had other things too. Like they had a bike toss. Whoever could throw the bike the farthest, stuff like that. It wasn't just the main race. But the problem is everything was happening at the same time, and I could only be in one place at a time, right? But it was a success. I absolutely loved it. And there were other things that were happening. I'll call her a friend. A friend that I worked with. I met her through Walmart. But she had these beautiful dogs, Alaskan malamutes. And well, at one point, when I first started working at Walmart, I was taking my camera in with me because I was going out to the conservation area in the morning or whatever, and I wanted to have my camera with me. So she asked me if I could take some pictures of her cats, and I did Autumn and Purple. Okay, sorry, I just got distracted. All of a sudden there was a whole bunch of activity at the intersection over there. I was just wondering what was going on. Okay, her two cats, Autumn and Purple. Autumn was a beautiful cat. I really liked him. And she got me to take pictures of him. It was difficult. For one, it was indoors. And two, they were kind of shy, I guess you could say. They weren't sure what to think of me. And I got some pretty good pictures. I made a calendar for her with them. And that was my first Spyro. You remember I showed my Spyros? That was the first one I did. That was the cover of the calendar. And she got these Alaskan malamutes. And one of them had bone cancer. He was going to have to be put down, so she wanted me to get some pictures of them, which I did. Both absolutely beautiful dogs. And they were so friendly. They were just amazing. You see an animal that big, it's kind of intimidating. It's like, oh my God, he can eat me. But they were so friendly, so playful. They're just absolutely beautiful dogs. So I got pictures of them playing in the snow and sitting in the snow and laying in the snow. And they picked out the picture they liked the best. And I went to one of the printing places in Hanover. I can't remember what it was called. And got it blown up to this big, huge thing. And they did a bad job. I was not impressed. The picture itself was fine, but when they printed it, one side was cropped. So part of the dog was missing. She wasn't impressed. It was like $80. It cost $80 to get this done. She wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed. I told her, I said, if I ever do this again, I'll go somewhere else. I won't go back to them. She should have took it back and complained about it. I never saw it. I never got to see it. They told me when it was done, and I told them, I says, it's not, it's for, I think I said it was for a customer, and like it didn't cost me anything to do it. I don't remember if she paid me to take the pictures or not. I don't remember. I've never asked for money to do any of this. It's just something I like to do, and it's experimenting to see if I can do it, right? But I told them, I says, my customer's coming in, it's for her, she's gonna pay for it. So I never got to see it. And then she called me and told me, you know, what was wrong with this picture. So I went to visit, and they had it framed, it was up on the wall, it looked nice, but like I said, the back of the dog was cut off. And it was not cut off in the picture. I even showed her the picture. You know, was not impressed with that. Because it doesn't matter if it's the printer's fault, that comes on me. I did a job for somebody, the end product was not good. It doesn't matter if it's the printer that did it or not, that's on me. I should have looked at that picture before, you know, I sent it, but lessons learned, right? So things continued on. I did different things here and there. And I got to a point where I missed having my video capability. And I rented, the boys were having a friend come up. They used to live here, well, not here, but they used to live in Hanover at the time, and they moved to Guelph. And we'd go down there to visit sometimes, and of course I always took pictures. And pictures of them playing. The bubble one, that was my favorite. Running with the bubbles. That was Jordan? Jonathan. Jordan, I think. I think his name was Jordan. But Alex, their main friend, he was coming up to visit. And that we were going to go out to Allen Park Conservation Area to do some tobogganing. So I didn't have a choice. After I quit my job and went on welfare, I had two credit cards at that time. And yeah, I had Capital One and I had the Canadian Tire card. It's a Canadian Tire card, you get discounts on gas. That's why I got that. I started with the Capital One. Just to build my credit back up again. They're good for that. And then I got the Canadian Tire one to save on gas. So at that point, you know, I couldn't make my payments anymore, so my credit went took a nosedive. And then after a little while, I got a Capital One card again. I was able to, and this one I had to put a deposit, I think, $400 was all I had. There's a minimum that you put on, and there's a maximum. I can't remember what the amounts are, but it's basically you put the deposit on, and then you can use that money, even though it's your own money, it's still considered credit, and it builds your credit score back up. That's how I got my credit score back, doing that. Because you can do whatever you want, and nothing works for your credit except for credit cards. So now this is the only way I could do it. Bank loan means nothing, you know, which is weird, but it doesn't build your credit. If you miss a payment on your loan, it'll hurt your credit, but it doesn't help, which is really weird. But anyways, I missed having video, and I knew we were going to be doing some tobogganing, so I didn't have the money to buy a camera, so I took the most hated route, and I went to Easy Home, and pay as you, how does that go? Rent to own, I guess you call it. So basically, by the time it's paid for, you've paid 3 or 4 times what it's actually worth, right? But like I said, that's the only way I could do it. And I bought a Sony Handycam, the only camera that they had, that was only video camera that they had. And it's the same style as this, but it's a Sony Sonys are garbage. I will never buy another Sony. Everybody I know that's had one has the same issue. They don't stay in focus. And that was the biggest issue I had. It had the powered zoom. Same thing as this. It's got the lever on the top, except this one's variable speed. It's not. If the zoom is way too fast, I didn't like it. But I got my use out of it. I got pictures of Scooby catching a mouse, or video I should say. I gotta take a break here soon. Scooby catching the mouse, and Christmas tree eating the Christmas tree. And I got some more tobogganing video, and that was it. I hated the camera. I hated it, so I took it back. They didn't like the idea. They didn't want me to, but I said it's not gonna work for me. It's garbage. I'm not gonna keep paying for something that I don't want. It's not gonna work. So I took it back. And at some point, after I got my credit card, I started building my credit up and making my payments and everything. Wasn't having an issue. They raised my credit limit up. I don't remember what to. So I decided this is a good time before I start, using the card on anything else. Time to get a new camera. So that's when I bought my another Fuji FujiFilm FinePix HS10. Now this camera was special. It was the first camera that was HD. The previous two Fujis that I had were 480p. This was 1080p finally, HD. And something else about it that I liked. I don't remember now. But it had the same thing. It had the manual zoom. Everything else pretty much the same as my previous Fuji, except it's got 1080p video instead of 480. I kind of think there was something else about it that I liked. I don't remember. But yeah, that was a beautiful camera. Megapixel count was higher on it than my other Fujis. So it took phenomenal pictures as well. But I don't remember anything else about it. But the HS I think stands for high speed, because it had a function you could shoot 1,000 frames per second, which would give you really nice slow motion. Problem with it is that high speed, that 1,000 frames per second, is not 1080p. So it works good. It does what it's supposed to do, but when you go to show it back on the computer, it's this tiny little it's like thumbnail size. They expand it to any amount that's actually usable, the quality's just gone. It was kind of cool, but we had all these plans. The boys were going to build Lego things and throw them at the wall and watch them explode in slow motion. Things that I was thinking of kicking a soccer ball and watching it deform as it leaves the foot and gets launched. I can't remember what all these things that we thought of until we discovered that the video is unusable. It'd be good for making animated GIFs. That's about it. That's the only thing I could think of. So that really sucked. But I didn't buy it for that anyways. That was a bonus feature that I never got to make use of. So that opened up my world to video again, and I don't remember what I started with at that point, but I started going back out to the conservation area again, and I got pictures and video of birds, feeding the birds out there, birds eating out of my hand, stuff like that. I had my video back. I was happy.